none of us really know. None of us really know.
I know.
No, I know. Perfect timing, Keith.
Keith, what's up?
Your favorite movie of all time. F9.
Oh, good.
How is there any other choice than Remember the Titans being number one?
I'm curious.
I'm spoiling mine, but
Well, let's see. Here we go. Yeah, that's a good, good
I'm
question,
not even
Brian.
done talking.
you shouldn't be talking at this point.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to Apocaflix Now from Apocaflix Movies. This is our movie hangout show where we, most of the time, choose a really fun topic and play some games or do a fantasy draft like we're doing today, or we just talk some movie news or both.
Most
so welcome to the show.
Most of the time?
I
of
was
the
waiting
time.
for that.
Sometimes we do. No, I meant like, sometimes we
So
only
you're
talk
telling me that you
news.
don't always have fun on this show?
No, that I do. But I was getting at that sometimes we play games. Sometimes we talk news. Sometimes we do both. Today, I feel like we're doing both. I feel like the fantasy draft is kind of like a fun movie game that we play here. But welcome to the show. If you haven't been here before, that's what we do here at Apocaflix Movies, and maybe some new stuff that we've never done before. I am your host, Jacob Bartley, back in the hosting chair for today's show. I am joined up here on the top of the screen with Brian Avalosino. How you doing, Brian?
Doing good. Getting over this sniffly cold that I have. Yeah, excited to be here. I'm eating my peanut M&Ms. And Chuck, you know what? I nominated him, and he's perfect for the role. So, woohoo.
Look, anytime we do one of these castings and it's a younger area, you're going to see, or like a younger casting, you're going to see some similar names pop up every time. It's just going to happen. And I know I'm going to get crap for a few of the ones that I chose.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll get to that later. Of course, Jake Berlin is here. How's it going, Jake?
It's a Tuesday.
It is a Tuesday, and you got a really cool hat on, man. I'm jealous of that. That's awesome.
Yeah, you can't actually see what it says, but it says Tatooine National Park.
Oh, that's cool. I couldn't see the national park part, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I was like the things that get made where it's like Best Bin, where you can get whatever, like those travel vacation fake things, like Star Tours. Those are always the best little thingies.
Nice. Real quick before we get to the main topics and stuff, I was curious, have you guys seen any of the recent releases that have come out? Just because I myself have been super busy. I've been trying to get to the theater, but have you guys seen anything new recently? I mean, we talked about Malignant last week.
That's the only thing that I've been able to catch recently. My life has been very, very crazy lately too. So
yeah,
it's freaking hard, man. Like,
you know what I realized? We used to go to the movies all the time, right? Like weekly,
so
it was a part
hard.
of our lives. And then when it became not a part of our lives that often, it was hard to get back into it, that routine, you know?
It so is. I totally agree with you. I'm. It's funny. I was talking to Gabby about it. I want to be able to find like one day per week where, like, if there's a movie out, it's designated for that time for me to go see it. So
that's what I want to do too, because by the time like I get home and we get all settled in, it's like it's already 7 or 8. It's like, are we gonna go to a movie and get home by 11? And then we sound like old people, so we need to stop complaining. But it is definitely tough. But we need to get back out there. What I really want to see is Candyman. I've been trying so hard to see Candyman. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, it is.
Stay tuned. There will be a Fandalorian Club special on the Visions. So there you go.
Awesome. All right. Well, with that being said, we're going to jump into the first part of our show, which is the movie watching challenge. And if you've never witnessed this segment of our show before, each week one of us gets challenged to a new movie or not a new movie, but a new movie to us that individual has not seen. And they are challenged by one of the other members of Apocaflix, and it just keeps going. Our only really rules are that you can't challenge the last two people that were challengers. And last week, Jake, you were challenged by Brian Avalosino to watch the multi-Oscar winning film Parasite. So I will hand it to you, good sir. Why don't you give us your thoughts on Parasite?
So I want to start by talking about how I have a very love-hate relationship with oh my god, why am I blanking on his name?
The director?
Bong Joon-ho. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Snowpiercer is one of my favorite movies. I am obsessed with it. I think the world is so interesting. I think the TV series is very, very good as well.
Are you still watching it?
I am. And then one of his other films, Okja, I hate with my entire body.
That's right.
Yeah, I really do despise that movie. So I have a very, very up and down, and I know he's done a number of other films, obviously, but I have a very up and down relationship with his movies, and that's because he likes to speak the loudest words possible for whatever story he's telling. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
Well, it worked for Snowpiercer for you.
Yeah, and that's the point of being a director and a storyteller. Like, that's what you're supposed to do. But in the case of something like Okja, for me, he spoke that a little too loud, and he spoke that in the wrong direction. And that is a movie that I probably will never recommend to someone. But when it comes to Parasite, because we are here to talk about Parasite, so it won the 2019 Best Picture Oscar on top of a number of other things. It was considered the best film in that year. And so it's been 2 years since it came out, and the movie's been talked about and talked about and talked about, specifically when it did come out. And I've always been an advocate for foreign language films. I've always told people, don't watch a dubbed over movie. Watch the one that has the actual voices with the subtitles. That's what it's there for. But I will say, I think the hype got to me.
No.
Okay.
It was good. It was good. It wasn't Best Picture. It wasn't Best Picture winning for me.
Man.
I think that the storytelling is great. What he does as a director and a writer is unbelievable. He's one of the best in the business today for a reason. I think the acting is off the charts. I think his cinematography is great, but it just I guess I don't know what I was expecting. Just because it's been 2 years, and I will say this because it's available on Hulu. The rights went to Hulu. When you put it on Hulu, can you guys take a guess on what genre it is on Hulu?
Is it under horror?
I had a feeling that's what I was going to guess too. Horror.
No, it's under comedy.
What?
Comedy?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't even think it's a horror movie either.
No, it's a drama.
Yeah,
it's a drama.
There's a little bit of thriller in there, but drama for sure.
There's a thriller the last 5 minutes of the movie. Like thriller's like the last 5 minutes.
And there's comedy in there, but no, it's not a comedy.
So that was already kind of like a okay, interesting as soon as I plug it in. And so I didn't go in with any kind of prior knowledge to the movie. I knew nothing about it. All I knew about it was that it was about social classes. And that's what the story was focusing on. And that's all I heard about for 2 years. And look, don't get me wrong. The movie is an incredible movie. It is the way that it's crafted, the way that the story plays out, the things that happen. But for me, it's just one of those movies that I caught too late. I think people had talked about it and built it up so much that I was expecting this incredible masterpiece of a movie, and I didn't get that. I'm glad that I finally was able to watch it. It's good. I would recommend it to everybody, especially because foreign language films definitely need to be seen a lot more. Give them a chance. But it was good. like I'm glad I watched it, but it was just good.
Interesting. So we see Brian with the sad lips and the sad face. So first, I want to start with Brian real quick. Brian, you watched this a little later as well. So to you, the hype lived up. It lived up to the hype for you.
Oh, I loved it. I thought the movie was crazy.
Yeah,
and it was just like.
See, I wouldn't describe it as that. I would not describe it as that at all.
Well, you're boring.
I could see that, and I definitely think it turns that way at a certain point later on in the movie. But
the last 10 minutes of the movie, that's what it turns into.
It is a very weird kind of movie. Like
the people living on there's so much going on. I liked it.
And the way they infiltrate the family, it's just kind of creepy in a way.
Well, so yes, I guess if that's what we're talking about, then yes. But I don't know. It was just
no. And I've had that happen to me before, where look, these movies, they get great reviews, right? It won Best Picture, right? And then you have that, and then you have me talking it up these last 2 years, and I'm sure other people have talked it up to you too. Brian sees it, he talks it up, and then you finally have to watch it. So I get it, but
he would have liked it less.
You acknowledge that it's a good piece of filmmaking. You acknowledge that.
Oh, 100%. And I think he is one of the best filmmakers working today. I can't wait to see what he does next, because he, like a lot of filmmakers who stay outside of blockbuster genres, like the Edgar Wrights and the Quentin Tarantinos and stuff, they always have something to say. And each time it's always something different. And so I'm interested in seeing where he goes next and what kind of story he decides to tell, because it's always something that people are waiting for.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because Oakjaw is very different from Parasite, and those are both very different from his other films. So something he does next isn't going to be like those. So I'm excited to see what he got. Well, look, I wasn't sure how you were going to feel about it, but yeah, it's okay. Sometimes, the hype is too much, for sure.
I know why Jake didn't like it, because Ford v Ferrari was in that nomination. 1917 was in that.
I was trying to look up my rankings
Marriage Story,
and I had it at 7, but I had Marriage Story above it, 1917 above it, Jojo Rabbit above it. So
this probably wouldn't have made my top 10 that year.
Yeah, probably not, because even I loved it and I had it at 7. So
I don't know if I wouldn't disagree with you.
Let's see. Let me just real quick, because I know we do have to move on.
I'm sure you like Jojo Rabbit better than it.
Let me look, because it feels like it's been ages ago. Let me look.
I think we all use the same ranking system too.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome for that, both of you. Let's see. No, not that. Okay, so let's see. This was
2019.
No, I wouldn't have made my top 10.
I wouldn't.
It would have. It probably would be around 14 or 15 that year.
See, now it would probably be either 10 or 11 for me.
So here's my top 10 of 2019. I know we're reminiscing, but
hey, we got time.
Here's my top 10 of 2019. So I had Ford v Ferrari at number 1, 1917 at 2, The Peanut Butter Falcon at 3, Jojo Rabbit at 4, Marriage Story at 5, Endgame at 6, Knives Out at 7. I had The Rise of Skywalker at 8. I had How to Train Your Dragon 3 at 9, and I had Long Shot at 10.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Those were my 10, and it's not, for me, it's not, I would much rather watch those other movies than this one.
See, I'm not that far off from you. I have Avengers Endgame, Peanut Butter Falcon, Rise of Skywalker, Toy Story 4, Spider-Man Far From Home, How to Train Your Dragon 3, Aladdin, Rocketman, Jojo Rabbit, and Ford v Ferrari. So for me, it would be fighting in between probably Ford v Ferrari and Parasite.
Yeah, it's still ranked relatively high. We see at least 30 or 40 movies, theatrical movies a year. So still pretty high up there.
What was yours of 2019?
I was thinking about sharing it. I have it up already.
Doesn't Fighting with My Family seem like so much longer than just 3 years ago?
There's a lot of stuff feels like
this was 2019, right?
Yeah.
So I had Jojo Rabbit number 1. I had Endgame number 2. I had Aladdin number 3. I had Joker number 4. 1917 at number 5, Marriage Story at number 6, Parasite at 7, Booksmart at 8, John Wick Chapter 3 at 9, and Long Shot at 10. So it did make mine, but number 7. So it makes sense. If it's
I want to make
guys'
sure everybody knows to watch a movie that probably you've never heard of. Go watch a movie called The Mustang, please and thank you.
Did that come out in 2019? I'm guessing
it did. Yeah, it's about.
I just want you to watch car movies.
It's It's not about cars actually. It is about prisoners. Training horses. And one prisoner gets very attached to a Mustang, and it's an incredibly good film.
It's about a horse in Brian's life. I'm saying it's a Mustang.
No, I remember now.
It's a car movie.
He has been talking about
John Pierce, go watch Marriage Story. It is unbelievable.
I only got like 30 minutes into that.
Marriage Story, Brian?
Yeah.
Marriage Story is
maybe because it was a little like too on the nose.
Look, it's heavy. There's certain people I wouldn't recommend watch it, but
that movie got robbed that year. She got robbed.
That movie is amazing. So incredible.
It was probably too on the nose for me. That's probably why I was like,
You know, I like reminiscing about this year. It was the last year we were all like doing podcasts in Brian's apartment and doing them all in person. So I'm like getting visual memories of it all.
No, we did it early 2020.
Yeah, but that was the last time we did end of year rankings and stuff. Yeah,
and our awards and everything.
Yeah,
dude, looking at my Letterboxd,
the golden fireballs.
Yeah, so stupid, but it's a good name.
Oh my god.
Oh man. All right, so the second part of the movie watching challenge, Jake, with our new system in place, you get to choose who you're challenging, and you get to choose the movie they're going to be watching.
Yeah, so this obviously only leaves 2 options open for me because I don't get to challenge either of you, being that you were the 2 most recent people that took part in it. And so what I did is I didn't want to challenge either. I didn't like have a desire to challenge either G or Keith. I went through their list and I was like, okay, what was the one movie that I really wanted to challenge that person to? And Gio's got some good ones on there. And I was looking at just the new list we created, so I didn't get to go back and look at the old one because I know the old one has a lot of movies that I want people to see.
And I'm off the table.
But I saw one on Keith's list, and I go, okay, boom, that's got to be the movie for multiple reasons. One, he seems to be the biggest advocate of this world on this channel outside of myself. 2, he has a brand new film coming out. And 3, it's just ridiculous that he hasn't seen this movie. So I am challenging Keith to the final installment to Edgar Wright's Cornetto trilogy, World's End. So nice. He is finally going to be watching The World's End, one of Edgar Wright's great films. Obviously, he has Last Night in Soho coming out. And Keith has said multiple times that Hot Fuzz is one of his favorite movies of all time. And he's a big guy. He's a big Scott Pilgrim guy, and obviously Shaun of the Dead. And so he's got to round out of 3 and watch The World's End. So Keith, enjoy it, my friend. It's one of my favorites.
So weird. So Keith hadn't seen The World's End, and Gio has only seen The World's End. It's like so.
Gio watches movies backwards, though. He watched Blade Runner 2049 before Blade Runner, and
that's true.
Interesting. Somebody tweet Keith. He's watching he's watching The World's End. No, we'll let him know. What's up, man?
Chuck, you might be wrong about that, but that's okay.
Ooh. I mean, they're all good, but I would agree, but it's because I love the other 2 so much. But to be fair, I've only seen The World's End once, so I need to watch it again. I've only seen it once.
I haven't seen it. Or Hot Fuzz.
Oh my goodness. Can we just move on, please? Oh my goodness. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. It is Tuesday. That means it's news day. So we have a little bit of news to talk about. And I'm going to shoot to our news correspondent, Jake Berlin.
I mean, it's not really Tuesday news day. It's not why we're here.
News
we're going to get to...
I'm trying to make the most of a 3-man show, right?
We're going to get to our... Because obviously the thumbnail says that we're doing the Breakfast Club recasting fantasy draft. That'll be coming up in the next 10 to 15 minutes. I wanted to plug this in because it's a very big news story, and it's going to come back around again very soon on this channel because we're actually going to rank his movies, his Warner Brothers films. But there was some news recently about Christopher Nolan's because Christopher Nolan is no longer going to be working with Warner Brothers after the move that they pulled with HBO Max. He did not agree with it, so he's currently shopping his film. It seems like Universal might be the landing spot for where he's going to go, but that now all depends on the demands that he has given the studio for his upcoming project. And so here is the current list of reported, again, not official, but reported things that were said Christopher Nolan demanded for a studio in his upcoming film. 1, he wants a $100 million budget. 2, he wants $100 million towards marketing. 3, he wants 100% creative control. 4, he does not want the studio to release any major film within 3 weeks of his film, either before or after. And finally, he wants his film to be in theaters for 100+ days. And so a lot of hundreds in there. Very, very big numbers. And look, this is really the first time that we've ever seen this happen, or this is obviously, or maybe come to light from a director to a studio. And I get it. Nolan is Nolan, and he's made some incredibly powerful films, and his films are event films, and they're one of a kind. But this might be a little outlandish. A little.
This guy thinks he can do whatever the hell he wants. You've made some good movies, but you've also made some stinkers. Like Tenet was not. I haven't seen it, but like
I don't think he's made a stinker. But underwhelming films for sure.
Well,
he's never made a rotten film on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, so
like I don't like Dark Knight Rises that much, to be honest.
Someone is going to be dumb enough to obviously do this. Someone will do it. And see, now I think someone will do it. Someone will be like, okay. But this dude, like, make your own company then. Like, he wants, yeah, exactly what I was just about to say. He wants 100% control of everything. And it's just like
James Wan had 100% control over *Malignant*.
Yeah, but that also wasn't like this guy who does?
That was a low budget film though, *Malignant*.
I know.
Yeah.
The 100 Days.
Ooh, you guys aren't gonna like what I have to say.
Nothing around his movie for 3 weeks. Get out of here! Like. So basically, he wants a whole month of just his movie for that company. Bro, your movies aren't gonna like bring in $1 billion every single time. Has he done $1 billion since one of the Dark Knight movies?
I don't think so, but they've gotten up there though, like 700, 800 million.
Yeah, I don't know. Tenet, you can.
I don't think we need to reach $1 billion. Like I think if he reached upwards of like 700, then
if he's only asking for $100 million budget, like that's actually modest to be on in today's blockbusters.
Yeah, like Endgame was $250 million for the budget.
That's fine. Like his level of movie, I think he should be allowed to have the $100 million. That's fine. I don't have any problem with that. My stuff lies with mostly the 3-week block off because
I'm not a big fan of that part of it.
You are then stopping them from making money outside of your movie. So your movie better be number one at the box office every single one of those weeks. Otherwise, you are now dragging money that they could be making. Do I doubt that he will not be number one when his movie goes out? No, it probably will be, unless it's going up against something insane.
But number one could be $40 million, though. Who knows?
Okay, so real quick, I want to intervene quickly just to put this stat out there. So I'm going to exclude Tenet because it didn't have
it's not fair.
The normal run. Since Batman Begins, he hasn't had a movie that's made less than $530 million at the box office. Batman Begins made $370. Both Dark Knight movies made over $1 billion. Interstellar made $700, and Inception made $840.
What has he made after? What is the movies that have been after the last Batman movie?
Interstellar, Dunkirk, and Tenet.
What did Dunkirk make?
About
540,
550.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, because it's not a worldwide
No,
opinion.
it was a war film, and war films.
It's tough. Well, look, all right. I agree with Brian on the 3 weeks before, 3 weeks after. Look, I understand he doesn't want major competition for his films, but they wouldn't release a fast movie in that same time frame anyway. They would try to avoid that. So they would be releasing like maybe one of their animated films or something like that. But other than that, I don't mind these requests. If can you guys clarify, didn't Universal agree to this or no? Are they negotiating?
I would have to double check, but I think they might just be in negotiations.
I mean, you have to think of it this way. There's no way Disney's going to go along with this.
I'm pretty sure that
Warner Brothers is out. That leaves what? Sony
or Paramount. Neither of them have the money. So
Lionsgate.
Lionsgate probably wouldn't have the money either. It's Universal.
Probably.
It's Universal.
I mean, any studio has the money. It depends if they want to take the risk. But I just think, they all borrow the money anyway. But I don't mind $100 million budget because most of his the movies that he's going to make these days are going to be in the $100 million range. $100 million in marketing.
That's honestly for his movies. That's a low budget for Christopher Nolan.
It is.
That's what I was actually kind of thinking too.
Look at the movies he's made, like Inception, Interstellar. Look at Tenet. Those require a lot of special effects.
I'm pretty sure they spend nearly $100 million on marketing anyway.
Hold on. I'm going to look up some budgets real quick.
For a film like Tenet. And then honestly, he already has 100% creative control. So the only things he's demanding outside of that is the 3 weeks before and after, which that's kind of ridiculous. But the 100 plus days in theater, which is a new thing because he wouldn't have had to have to do that before. I believe it used to be 90 days or something.
I was going to say, before pandemic?
It used to be 90. I'm pretty sure.
Do you guys want to know how much Tenet cost?
Oh, I'm sure it costs
probably a lot.
Budget.
Probably,
it's the highest. It's its highest budget since.
Good guess.
Hold on. It's his highest budget on a film since The Dark Knight Rises. Tenet cost $200 million on a budget.
Oh my goodness!
The Dark Knight Rises was $250.
You know, like that plane shot where the plane crashes into the hangar. So I think that was a practical shot.
It was.
Yeah. So he's spending. I don't know which costs more, to do it practically or.
Well, it depends on how many times you got to shoot it. That's like 6 planes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I never thought about that. They definitely didn't get it right on the first try. Look, I don't think this is crazy, but I do. Look, we know Nolan's like this, so I don't think it's surprising.
Look, I'm going to say this. So I'm with you. I think the 3 weeks before and after thing is a little ridiculous, but when I think back to it, Christopher Nolan's movies always owned the beginning of July. The beginning/middle of July. Always. And studios knew that it was a Christopher Nolan film, so they stayed away from it. It's really not that far out of the realm of possibility that happens because no one's going to want to go up against a Christopher Nolan film. They're not. They know what kind of money his movies make. They are shot for IMAX. They're shot for big screens. They're shot for experiences. He gets really big actors involved. He tells these gigantic stories that are truly one of a kind. The rest of it, I don't know what people spend on marketing. $100 million could be a lot. I'm not sure. The 100 plus days in theaters for me might be a little ridiculous because if movie seasons get back to normal, then that might be stretching it. That's over 3 months in theaters. That's a long time.
You have to make money on the Blu-rays and stuff. So
that's a long time. And most of the time movies don't stay in the first spot of the box office for more than 3 or 4 weeks. Unless it's a very rare film.
Yeah.
So if there's more that comes out around it, that 100 days in theaters, that's the one that they should never guarantee because that probably will never happen. The rest of it's whatever. Just if he gets $100 million for a budget, that's nothing compared to his previous movies. Interstellar was 170, 165. Dunkirk was
the contract is at least $100 million.
So it's.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if there's any director out there, Christopher Nolan's going to get it. The movie just needs to be good. He needs to stop telling stories that are confusing as fuck.
I'm guessing you saw Tenet.
Yeah, I watched it last year, and I was like, okay, I don't need to watch that again because I don't know what the hell is happening.
Yeah, it's interesting. I need to watch it with subtitles on, and maybe I'll figure it out.
Brian, we're on Christopher Nolan. We haven't done Breakfast Club yet, so stay tuned.
No,
about 5 minutes.
Talking about Christopher Nolan's demands. I think
Nolan for Breakfast Club. No way.
Yeah,
I just caught that.
No, thank you.
It is a Universal property too, which is funny.
It is.
I think for me, I could care less about everything else other than that 3 week before and after. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and it would just be that studio's movie, so Disney could still drop, Captain America 4 right before.
So
Nolan's
I would say this. I would say I understand 3 weeks after. I don't understand 3 weeks before because the second his movie comes out, it's the movie to see.
What? You're right. I mean, I guess he's saying he doesn't want them in theaters at the same time.
I'm fine if he was like, okay, I don't want a movie coming out 3 weeks after my movie's release. But 3 weeks before is like almost like a weird proposition because
that doesn't make
once
sense.
his movie comes out, everyone's gonna go see his movie.
Yeah.
And they're not going to release Jurassic World or F10.
And that's also a huge giant fact right there. What's up, Tim? That's also a big gigantic fact too, because that's what's made his movie so confusing.
Well, here's my thing with it too, is with that 3 weeks. Say so he doesn't want any of their.
He did write Tenet by himself. Interesting.
So say he doesn't want any of that studio's movies to be out 3 weeks before. What if they dropped a movie a month before his movie? Does he expect him to only let it be in theaters for a week? I
think he means release date, like not in theaters, is what I'm guessing.
I have a feel. Look, we're talking about this in the sense of like Christopher Nolan doesn't want to make his movie unless these demands are met. Like, I imagine the guy's actually a pretty good dude. He's a great filmmaker. Tim's right. He needs to have a co-writer on his films to kind of bring his head back to earth where people like us are trying to enjoy a movie rather than go to math class. Anyway.
Why didn't his brother help with Tenet?
Yeah. I just want to be able to come out of his movies going like, oh,
I want the Interstellar effect where I was blown away by the movie, but I was thinking about it for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, trying to figure it out, but not to a complex way where I still have no idea what Tenet was about. Like I want to be able to think and try to figure it out. And okay, even a better understanding, the Inception effect, where it's left open-ended for me to decide. Right?
Or like Inception, the ending.
That's what I just said.
Oh, did you? I thought you said Interstellar.
I said Interstellar, then Inception. Okay. I loved it when he made movies that were extremely complex and they made you think, and your mind was kind of like twisting and turning as you're watching. And then you walk out and you're like talking with friends like, okay, this is what I understood. Let's piece this together.
But what's funny? When I watched Tenet, everybody was like kind of quiet leaving the theater because nobody knows what to say.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't want to leave this movie going.
Huh?
Yeah.
In order to feel that special twist or whatever it is, you have to be able to follow along the whole time, So yeah, we'll see. I still believe in the guy, so I'm sure he has something big.
I think he's going to go down as one of the best filmmakers ever, and I think what he did was great. I want him to just scale back a tiny bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Give him Superman. See what he does with it.
Well, he executive produced Man of Steel, so I don't think he wanted to touch anything more DC for a while.
Comic book or pre-existing properties. Yeah.
Hey, Marvel's here.
Give him something like what's something that's been total crap in the comic book genre that needs a full revamp, like a Ninja Turtles. Give him a Ninja Turtles movie.
That would be crazy. Oh my goodness.
Give Christopher Nolan a Transformers movie.
There we go. Perfect match.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I would.
Look, everyone's just yelling at me. Okay, we need to move on.
Bumblebee 2. Bumblebee 2. There
I
we
think
go.
that was to my Superman.
All righty. Well, let's get to what you came here for, and that is the Breakfast Club draft. I'm excited for this one. Big John Hughes fan. I actually just rewatched Breakfast Club this morning to prepare for this. Wanted to feel it fresh in my mind. So, Jake, take us away. What are we getting into, man?
Well, there you go, Jacob.
Look, it already crossed my mind.
Let's reel it back.
And no, it wouldn't work.
Okay, so so if you have not joined us before, thank you all for joining us. I see the numbers jumping up here. We do what's called a fantasy movie draft here on Tim Franco. That's good. That's good.
That would be interesting because
I'm down for that.
So we do fantasy movie drafts here on Apocaflix. We do all kinds of sorts of fantasy movie drafts. We've done anything from our most recent one, which was drafting the Suicide Squad for a possible Suicide Squad 3. We have done holiday dinner parties. We've done action heroes. But this is one that's you'll see pop up quite a bit because it's something we can do for a lot of stuff. But we're going to do a fantasy draft, and we're going to recast a film. Tonight we're doing The Breakfast Club. One we did before this. What did we recast last time?
We've only done one, and it was Back to the Future.
We did Back to the Future. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
We recasted Back to the Future.
Can I just clear something up really quick for everyone? For the record, he's the one that's picking the movies that get recasted.
That's fine. People can come at me. That's fine. I don't care.
Well, also, to be fair, we sat around for like 45 minutes in Jake's house trying to come up with a movie, and we couldn't decide on one. So Jake just chose.
we're gonna recast the Breakfast Club, and we're gonna do the 5 students plus Principal Vernon. That's what we're doing. I know the janitor is heavily involved in the film, but we're gonna stick to the 6. The way the format works here is that we have a draft board that we've created with names for each character. We're going to be able to choose one from each of those categories. And then at the end of the night, our last pick is always a borrow, where we can take one person from anybody else's team that isn't in the first or second round. And we'll get to that once we get there. But we're just going to cast these characters, and we're going to see what kind of cast we come up with as a group. We were supposed to have 2 others with us tonight. They weren't able to make it, unfortunately, and so there's a lot more for the choosing for us. So let me go ahead and bring up the draft board real quick so we can take a look at it. This is the official draft board that we have tonight. So you have the Recluse, which you can see the list there. You have the Jock, Nerd, Beauty, Rebel, and then obviously Principal Richard Vernon down there. And these are all the names that we get to pick from. Once one is chosen, it gets crossed off, and we're doing it just like fantasy sports style. We are picking our draft snake style. And I will bring up a randomizer to randomize the names, and we will go from there. I'm sure it'll be very easy for us because there's only 3 of us. But I'm excited to do this because there's a lot of names on here that a lot of people may not recognize as like big names. There's a lot of TV names. There's a lot of people who are just kind of popping up now. So yeah, this one should be fun. Thoughts, guys?
I'm excited.
Principal one is stacked.
The principal is perfect. Like every name on there is perfect.
I would be fine with any of them.
Yeah, and they'd all be so different too, which is cool. There's some of these names on here. I'm like, how did I not think of that person for this? So I'm excited. And look, I will say, with these castings, the age range of the actors varies so much, but I'm pretty sure the Breakfast Club original cast, their age ranges were all over the place too. So like they always have like adults playing high school kids in movies,
100%.
Even unless you're like Molly Ringwald, she was 17. So
look at dear Evan Hansen.
All right, let me bring this up real quick, and we'll get the draft order, and then we will get going on this. So names are in. I'll click randomize, and this is the draft order. Even though there's already 3 of us.
Jake's the only one who can see it. I'm just kidding.
Jake, Brian, Jacob.
Oh, of course.
Jake, Brian.
Actually,
Jacob.
I love the snake turn.
So there you go. Jake, Brian, Jacob. I sent you guys the official list that we can cross them off. It should be in your email. If not, it's going to be pretty easy with only being 3 of us. But that means I get to go first. Let me go and bring up our draft music. Give me a sec.
Rigged.
And we will get going. Yeah, it's always rigged. What are you talking
about?
I rigged it because I wanted the snake, the 3. And it's actually better this time because there's only 3 of us.
Yeah, it's going to be I think it's going to be really easy. Like we're each going to get the
I get the 3rd and 4th pick. I'm not only picking
All
my
right.
people though. I'm stealing some of your guys.
I'm on the clock. Okay, so where's this list? Okay. So there's a couple there that I'm okay with. All right, so I'm gonna go with one. I want to take her right away. I'm gonna go with beauty category first. I'm gonna go with Claire, and I'm gonna cast Madeline Klein as my Claire. If you know who Madeline Klein is, you have watched Outer Banks. She is Sarah in Outer Banks, and I think she'd be a great Claire Standish in a reboot.
That is a good choice.
I'm trying to find the list, even though I know what I'm picking. Oh well. Give me the most obvious. Give me Saoirse Ronan.
Freaking Brian.
So easy.
Ooh, of course. Of course.
She can literally do no wrong.
Well, I can just.
Whoa, wait, hold on. Which? She's Claire as well. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Mr.
Interesting. Jacob. Okay. All right. This is tough, but I have to go big, and I have to choose the best name for the principal possible, and that is J.K. Simmons. Give me J.K. Simmons as Principal Vernon. He is. That's just so perfect.
That was me. That was mine.
Good choice.
All right,
Even though I love one of my choices, I really wanted to choose one of my choices, but that is the best choice.
It absolutely is the best choice. You're welcome. He was the last person I added to the list.
Yeah.
The very last person.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say real quick, I would have loved to see Sebastian Stan play something like that. Like, I think it would have been so cool, like, to see him in a kind of jerky role. Because we always see him. I mean, I guess Winter Soldier was a jerk at first, but, you know. All right. Let's see here. You know what? Once I saw this name on the list, I was like, oh my goodness, that is absolutely 100% perfect. So I'm going to go with Jack Dylan Glazer as B. Johnson. He is so perfect for
Screw you. That was mine.
So
God.
Did you nominate him?
Yeah. Yes.
There's an ad. Excuse the ad.
I'm already picturing the cast in my head.
God.
What is he for? He's
nerd.
Brian Johnson, I believe.
Yes, nerd. Okay. Oh, don't want that showing. There we go. Okay. All right, Brian, go ahead.
I want Taika for the principal.
Ooh, nice. That's a good one too.
You know what? That's totally cool. I get the picking of a lot now for principal because you guys are out of it. So I'm cool. I get to sit back and make that pick last.
Pardis, don't feel bad. I think I was forced to watch it either the end of last year or this year. So
you were challenged. I challenged you to it.
Yeah.
Tim Franco, I am so happy you made this reference. Thank you, sir. That is so true.
Oh wow.
He's the Dick ski dude.
That's true.
Yeah. Time machine, man.
My bad. But we don't see him a lot. He's always so likable in his roles.
All right, next up, let's see here. I'm going to. Ooh, man. You know what? I'm going to go with Allison Reynolds. I'm going to choose the recluse. And I'm going with my girl, Emma Mackey. If you don't know who she is the main actress from Sex Education on Netflix. So I'm going to go with Emma Mackey.
I've been wanting to watch that, Jake. It looks
it's
so good.
It looks very interesting.
So you finished with it, Jake?
Yeah, I finished it.
Yeah. Hi, Gabby.
You were muted.
Oh. Hi.
Hi.
All right, so I'm up again. Let's see here. I don't have to go to the principal. I can wait on him. I don't really like any of those choices, if I'm being honest. All right, I'm gonna choose John Bender here, and I'm gonna go with my boy Cole Sprouse. He plays a little bit of a bad boy in Riverdale, Sweet Life and Zach and Cody days. Give me Cole Sprouse.
Oh,
is he one of the brothers from that?
He is.
Sweet Life and Zach. Wow,
Brian. It came out on Friday of last week.
No, that's where I saw the trailer for it.
Sex Education is probably the best written show on television right now.
It really
These
is.
3 seasons have not let up whatsoever.
Is it a British show?
Yeah.
Wow. So what is Dylan Sprouse in now, Jake? What did you mention? He's in
Cole Sprouse. He plays Jughead in Riverdale.
Oh, nice.
Sean Wingblade, you are correct also.
Yeah. Let's see.
Chuck, that's why you're not drafting and I am. You're welcome. I thought you hated Timothée Chalamet for Rebel. What are you talking about, Chuck?
While we wait for Brian, I just want to say shout out to Physical Media, because Breakfast Club is not available on any streaming service like to watch for free that you already own. You have to rent it. And I pulled out my old DVD of Breakfast Club to rewatch it. If anybody ever asks you, why should I buy Physical Media? That's why. Because I didn't have to pay to watch it again.
Crap.
Come on, Brian. You got about 5
I'm
seconds.
going to go with my recluse. And I'm going to actually steal someone's and go Zendaya.
Oh, damn. I was thinking about choosing her. That's a good pick.
So I actually did a little research, just kind of preparing for tonight, and I was seeing if like anybody else had recasted like the film over the years. And she is like arguably the one thing that popped up everywhere for the recluse character.
Really? She'd be a good fit for it.
Yeah, I saw her name multiple times in a lot of different areas. And this was a couple years ago too, like even before Euphoria came out. So just imagine what she can do now after all the experience she's had.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, Jacob, you're on the clock. You got 2 picks in a row.
All right, so this is interesting. He's going to look so much older than the rest of my cast, but once I saw this, I really liked it. I'm going to go with Alden Ehrenreich as my stock character. Oh, man, I'm still in Brian's everywhere. I'm so
After
Brian.
I said Zendaya, I went, shit, I should have picked it.
Brian, that means I like your choices more than mine, unless those weren't your
No, that wasn't a
that was mine.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, he'd be so good in that role.
Yeah.
He looks young. He can pull it off.
You're welcome.
I mean, I don't think, how old was Emilio Estevez?
The reason why, so I had a hard time because I wanted to have an even number for all of them because I had to fill in a lot of spots myself. We didn't get all the submittals submits like I expected, and I was just like throwing names around and go, wait a second, Han, Jock, duh, like let's throw him in there and see if he gets picked. So there we go. And again, like this would be a lot different if both Keith and Max were able to make it, but I mean, look, Emilio Estevez, he looked old in the movie, so
no, he did. He like he could either be like 22 or 32. Like you never know.
That's why she's perfect.
Exactly. You just put her in breakfast.
Yeah, she was good.
Now that I'm looking at Jock, I should have nominated someone.
Okay, hold on. Let me, Jacob, before you go on your next pick, I'm going to bring up the first 3 rounds. So hold on a second.
Yeah. Good.
All right. Here's what the first 3 rounds look like, everybody. So I started off by taking Madeline Klein as Beauty. Brian took Saoirse Ronan as Beauty. And then Jacob went with J.K. Simmons as Principal Vernon, followed by Jack Dylan Glazer as Nerd. Brian went with Taika as Principal Vernon, and I took Emma Mackey as Recluse. And then I followed it up with Cole Sprouse as Rebel, and Brian took Zendaya as Recluse, and Jacob took Alden Ehrenreich as Jock. So only 1 Jock off the board so far, and only 1 Nerd as well. So
I had to get my Jock before you guys took him. All right, so I'm back on the clock. All right, so Brian, I did want to choose Zendaya as my recluse, but I'm gonna go with a little of an unknown name. But
never mind.
I don't think you're probably not gonna know. It's so random. I don't even know how she got on the board. Like I didn't choose her, but I do like what I've seen from her. She played Dora the Explorer in the live action version. That is Isabella Marced.
You're welcome.
I'm a big fan of hers. I think she's a really good actress. So I'm gonna choose her as my recluse.
You're welcome. That was mine.
So recluse is done.
Recluse is off the board. Allison Reynolds is no longer. We picked all Allison Reynolds. All right.
I got to wait on the beauty because you guys both chose yours right away.
All right, Brian, you're up.
It's funny because I thought of a jock that's not on the list, and now like he's the only person I can literally think of. I'll just say it since he's not on there. But Jacob Elordi, however you say his last name, I should have put him. I am going to go with for my should I get my nerd?
Can you name her Transformer? Nussbaum? I can.
I am going to take my nerd.
Okay.
And I am going to take Lucas Hedges.
All right. Funny, I saw him in the jock role, personally.
He could play either one, I think.
There's a couple people on here who can kind of play either one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it was intentional, but we haven't Zendaya and Beauty and Recluse.
It wasn't. So both of those were nominated by Max. He picked her for.
Oh, nice. She could play either one.
He was really bummed he couldn't be here. He was actually excited for this one.
No, I thought you'd mentioned that he was going to be on, so I was.
He was really looking forward to it, but work kind of kicked him in the butt today. So
I should have just picked the cast of Lady Bird. I could have easily.
All right, so let's see. I have Beauty. I have Recluse. I have Rebel. Let's go with my nerd. Let's pick a nerd because I'm going to save my jock for last. I'm going to go with a nerd. As much as I want to round out my sex education cast.
Jake's nominations are all sex education and
As much as I want to take my sex education cast member here, I'm going to go with someone who I think is one of the best young actors working today, and that is Noah Jupe. He is the son in A Quiet Place. He was the son in Ford v Ferrari, and a role that a lot of people didn't know or have not seen him in. He was Shia. He played Shia LaBeouf in Shia's film Honey Boy. He played his son in the movie. So check that out. I'm going to take him as my nerd. Noah Jupe.
Wait, he played Shia LaBeouf's son?
Well, Shia LaBeouf was playing his father, and he played Shia, technically.
Oh, when they were younger. When he was younger.
Yes,
okay. Because Lucas Hedges played him older, right?
As like a teenager,
I haven't seen it.
Yes.
I haven't seen Honey Boy, yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go with my jock now because I can wait on my principal. And this one's tough, man. This is an interesting category. And there's a lot of good names. Jacob already took one. You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take my Outer Banks co-star here, Drew Starkey, who plays Sarah's brother on Outer Banks. So Madeline Klein and Drew Starkey are returning together.
This guy.
And Chuck, you can come after me all you want, bud.
Jake watches so much TV.
Look, Chuck, even if you don't like Outer Banks, you got to admit he plays a great jock in that.
Jake, I still don't understand how you have how you watch so much TV. Like ever since I met you, he watches like 50 shows ongoing, and I'm like, how? It's crazy. Awesome. And honestly, a lot of times you're referencing actors and actresses that I haven't heard of because I never watched those shows.
That's why I do it, because I know that they're gonna be like, who is that? And I'll just swoop them up.
That's a good technique, yeah.
John, that's actually not a bad nomination for a principal.
No, you guys left the best principal on the block. The best principal on the block.
No.
He said his principal would be
Absolutely.
what? Tom Hiddleston? He's going to play like a 25-year-old principal.
I know, right?
I guess it's possible, right? He just like hammered out his schooling like super early, graduated early.
I understand that reference.
What movie?
That is my favorite movie of all time, Prisoner of Azkaban.
Your favorite movie?
My favorite Harry Potter movie of all time.
Oh, his favorite movie of all time.
His favorite Harry Potter movie of all time. Sorry.
We got to clip that out, Brian.
I will. It's my pick. Duh.
Why was I gonna say a Loki reference? Like I thought that was a Loki reference. It would.
I'm gonna go with my jock and grab Ty Sheridan.
Nice. He could definitely pull that off.
It's so funny because we've seen a couple of these actors play different roles than what we're drafting them as. Like Ty Sheridan was, quote unquote, like a nerd in Ready Player One, right? And now you're drafting him as a jock. So it's just interesting. That's
well,
awesome.
you know what's weird is I feel like his Cyclops kind of felt like a jock. I don't know why.
Well, I don't know if he was so
loved
much a
his
jock, but
Cyclops.
he was like kind of just like a
Well,
reserved person.
He felt. I mean, I guess Cyclops is always like the leader of the X-Men. So like, I guess, but he felt like the popular kid
Let us
on
know what you think,
campus.
Pardis. Shoot us up in the Discord, man.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nussbaum, you are so on point with this too. So on point.
That would be so funny. Oh man. All right, so
that's not bad. What is his name? What is House's name?
Who?
The actor that played in that TV show House.
That is Hugh
Laurie.
Hugh Laurie.
No. Is it Hugh Laurie? Yeah.
I think it's
That's
Hugh
not
Laurie.
a bad choice, though, Drew.
Yeah.
all right, so
Jacob.
well, I love my nominations for the.
See, this is the problem though. You're picking everybody else's nominations, which makes me believe that you don't like your nominations.
Yeah.
I do, but you guys chose some good choices, man. You guys chose some good choices.
It's so funny. Jacob texted me. He goes, I tried to be outside the box, and meanwhile I see Doc Ray Montgomery on his list. I'm
Yeah,
like,
all right.
really?
You guys
Really?
cannot deny.
Which is
I know
who
I
he's gonna
throw
pick
him in
right
for
now.
everything, but he would be a good role for the.
See, I see him as a jock, not
jock.
Rebel.
For
Yeah.
Rebel, really?
I don't see him as John Bender.
No. he's
Really?
not even close.
I
He's
totally
the jock.
do.
Yeah.
Ah, that's interesting.
You're way
but
off. on that.
John
Anyways.
Bender is so unique. Like he has to be this specific type of actor.
Well, then I'm gonna go ahead and choose
Doc Ray Montgomery.
Timothée Chalamet as my John Bender.
Wow.
Because look,
Chalamet on the board.
look, honestly, I knew somebody else was gonna nominate him, so
Yeah.
I avoided nominating him for anything. Right?
Wow. I
But
hate you.
when it comes to the draft, you got to take the best player on the board.
You know why he was nominated? Because he played this same exact role, but not as good in Lady Bird.
Yeah.
He was literally John Bender in Lady Bird.
mad.
Look, Brian, you can't have Saoirse Ronan and Timothée Chalamet in every single movie.
I absolutely
Like,
can't.
if Brian was casting director of every movie, they'd
Tim,
both be in
Okay,
it.
now I feel like we need to get Tim Franco on the show one time because all his picks are just trumping all of ours.
Hey, wow, that is perfect.
John Pierce, I had her on the list at one point, but I took her off. She would be a great Rebel. Oh, there you go. That's a good choice too. RDJ is the principal. Duh.
Yeah.
I don't even know who the rest of these stupid Rebel people are other than Logan.
Real quick. So, Jacob, actually, no, let's go one more round and I'll show the draft.
Well, this is the final
so
round.
I'll just say, look, if I'm putting together this movie and I can get Timothée Chalamet in that role, I'm doing it. So that's what it is. He's a bigger name than Doc Ray, even though I love Doc Ray Montgomery. You know that. So I get to go back. This is my last choice.
It's your last choice.
My last choice. Okay, so I saved the beauty for last, but because I could, but also I am so torn. And I'll tell you what, Jake, this is going to be one of my choices, and I still haven't decided. I'm deciding in my brain because I know one kind of makes sense, but the other one I think would work out really well. All right, so I'm gonna go with Elle Fanning as the beauty.
Oh my God! Of
She
course
is one
you
of my
are.
favorite actresses. And look, my other choice was Sophia Lillis, I believe is her name.
How
And
Florence Pugh did not make it on this list because of him, I will never know.
She wouldn't have fit.
I almost added her, but I tried to keep it to unknown. It's funny, Jacob. Again, I'm not trying to knock picks here. I see Elle Fanning as the recluse, not the beauty.
No, so you know what's okay? When I sent you my original list on Gmail, I had her in the recluse segment.
Okay, I see her as the recluse.
I think she can play both. It depends because look, Molly Ringwald in what's it called?
16
Candles. She's like the loser girl, right? But in this, she's the popular girl, so she played both.
That's fair.
So I feel like Elle Fanning can play both. And I look, Sophia Lillis would have been a great choice, but I don't want to have to be like there. She's a redhead, so she has to be a redhead too. Like I didn't want to do that, so I'm gonna go with Elle Fanning because I think she's so amazing and she's underrated.
Jake, I expected you to put Samara Weaving in this.
She's too old for this.
She doesn't look. There's actors who are older, but they look like they could be in high school. She does not look like she could be in high school.
Well, since Jacob's an asshole, and
I still like 3 of Brian's picks.
Timothy, he literally did. Timothy Chalamet.
That's Mom. You're making great choices tonight, my man. As long as he falls in some manure, I'm happy. Nobody understands the reference, but that's okay.
No, I am taking my last pick which is my Rebel, and I'm taking Miles Heiser.
Now, okay, Brian. So I had it when you sent me your list. I'm surprised you even know who this is. Can you explain to me how you know who he is?
13 Reasons Why.
Okay, so I haven't seen 13 Reasons Why, but I've seen him in other stuff. So I wasn't sure how you knew who he was.
And he's from Love, Simon.
Oh, I was gonna say, isn't he in Love, Simon? Yeah,
Mm-hmm. He's freaking phenomenal.
who's the lead actor in Love, Simon? I actually nominated him tonight.
Nick Robinson.
I nominated him.
Oh, so did I. But I don't know what role.
You both nominated him for the same thing.
Oh, for Josh.
That's why he's only on there once.
Why would his name be there twice? It's so random.
It's just I'm gonna start putting a square next to him.
Oh, like nominated twice. No, I like him a lot.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Back to the Future.
All right, so I'm up, and this is the final pick of the draft until we get to the borrow round, and I have the principal left, and you guys somehow left the single best person on this list, and you took like the popular choices, right? Like J.K. Simmons is a great choice, Taika Waititi, great choice, but they are nowhere as good as one Ted Lasso, Jason Sudeikis.
Oh, that was my nomination.
He is the single best choice. I
wasn't sure where you were going there.
I was going to nominate him, but I take everyone else's list before I nominate myself. And so I put yours on there, and Jason Sudeikis is without a doubt the perfect choice to play one Richard Vernon. I could see him in that role so much. So thank you for not taking him because chef's kiss.
That's a good one. I wasn't sure where you were going because any of the names you could have went with and your argument would have stood, but
yeah,
not bad.
The principal was stacked, that category.
Yeah, Brian did say that right away.
And that's also a fact because it also works that way. Was he a principal or a teacher? I think it was a teacher, wasn't he? Or a guidance counselor, maybe?
He was driving them around, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he might have been a teacher.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
That too. Horrible Bosses too.
He's great in pretty much everything.
I have not seen Ted Lasso, but I need to watch it.
Okay, so let me run through this before we get to our bar run real quick. This is what it looks like. So we did the first 3 rounds. It followed up. I took Noah Jupe as my nerd. And then Brian took Lucas Hedges as his nerd.
God, my cast is stacked.
Jacob took Isabella Merced as his recluse. And followed it up with stealing Timothy Chalamet as his rebel from Brian. Brian took Ty Sheridan as his jock. And I took Drew Starkey as my jock. And then I took Jason Sudeikis as my principal. Brian took Miles Heiser as his rebel. And, why didn't I not put Beauty on there next to Elle Fanning? Jacob took Elle Fanning next as his Beauty. Okay, so the way that this was going to work now in our last pick, it's just a fun little round.
Yeah. It's like if we could replace our choice with.
Yeah, and usually it works a little different, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna borrow one person from somebody else's list.
That's a good choice.
Oh, Ken Jeong is great.
Oh wow.
Ben Mendelsohn was also. I picked Ben Mendelsohn because he felt like he fit the role
perfect.
very well.
And he kind of looks like the old principal.
That's why I chose him. So I'm gonna be able to borrow someone from either Brian or Jacob's list that isn't in the first or second round. And this is just to add to my cast in any particular way, whether it be like a sibling or an extra character or something. So out of those 8 characters or actors, I should say. Oh man. You know what? I'm gonna steal or just borrow, put on my team, Isabella Merced as Recluse.
Nice. Nice. If we had money on this or something, I don't know how that would be possible, but Timothée Chalamet would have went way earlier, I feel like.
Like the odds, like betting odds?
Yeah, exactly. Something like that.
All right, Brian, so who you taking?
You can just fill it in, you know.
Oh yeah, it's Chalamet.
See, that's what made me think of it, because like he should be in the top 2 rounds, right?
Chuck, I don't know what you're talking about. He is perfect for the rebel role.
And the one steal that got taken away from me, I'm gonna borrow Zendaya if I can for my cast.
I also thought of Awkwafina in some capacity, but I felt like she might have looked a little too old. You're taking Zendaya as the Recluse?
Yep. Should be my one borrow.
All right. Well, there's our official. Oh, not that one. There's our official The Breakfast Club recast.
Freaking Alden Ehrenreich way older than all the rest of my cast.
All right, I'm gonna run through my cast. So I have Madeline Klein playing the Beauty. I have Emma Mackey playing the Recluse. I have Cole Sprouse playing Rebel. Noah Jupe as the Nerd. Drew Starkey as the Jock. Jason Sudeikis as the Principal. And I borrowed and added Isabella Merced as the Recluse, just in case Emma Mackey gets sick or has a conflicted interests. So there you go. Brian?
Scheduling conflict. There we go.
That's what I was trying to find. Scheduling conflict.
What they always say, but it's not
true. Exactly.
My Beauty is Saoirse Ronan. Perfect fit. Taika Waititi as the Principal. Zendaya as the Recluse. Lucas Hedges as the Nerd. Ty Sheridan as the Jock, Miles Heiser as the Rebel, and scheduling conflict. The great Timothée Chalamet.
Nice. All right, so I got J.K. Simmons as my Principal, Jack Dylan Glazer as my Nerd, Alden Ehrenreich as my Jock, Isabella Merced as my Recluse, Timothée Chalamet as my Rebel, and Elle Fanning as my Beauty. And if Isabella Merced has scheduling conflicts, we'll call up Zendaya and pay her way more.
Get out of here, Chuck.
Facts, Chuck. Facts.
Get out of here.
That was fun. I'll have an image up in the morning. I'll put one together for the draft results. There were so many names that were left off. Like Beanie Feldstein was left off this list. Dylan Minnette was left off. Finn Wolfhard was left off this list.
Yeah. I thought about
you mentioned Sophia Lillis, obviously Logan Lerman.
I mean, I almost nominated Millie Bobby Brown. Like, I'm surprised she did not pop up on this.
I left her off because it's like the Timothée Chalamet choice. Like, duh, yes. So
yeah, for sure. I think she would have actually been a better Recluse, though.
That's what I was going to add her as.
Yeah, she would have.
She would have been great as the Recluse. Yeah. But no, that was fun. That's a great little draft. Good little draft.
Yeah, no, that was actually more fun than I thought. Like with just 3 of us, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
Curious to see what movie Jake wants to recast.
Well, we probably won't do a recast one next. We'll find something else to do next. But the recast one is going to pop up regularly on the fantasy drafts.
No, this is fun when it's an ensemble. When you can find a movie that fits, like an ensemble cast, it works.
Yeah, I know that we've had something on the back burner of doing like our heist crew, essentially.
Yeah, we'll wait for the next big heist movie or something.
Like the Italian Job, essentially having our crew. So that might be what's up next, but you'll probably see it either in October or maybe November, depending on what happens. But no, I mean, you'll see recast draft pop up. So if you guys have a movie that you would love to see us recast in a draft portion, we'd love to do it. Star Drew, I've thought about Ocean 11, but that's a lot of people.
You can do 8.
That is a lot. Even 8's a lot of people. Like,
True.
Maybe one day, but we like to keep it around that like 5 to 8 range, even though the Ocean's 8 is 8. Because usually there's at least 4 of us on here, and we don't want to spend 3 hours doing it. Like
basically, I think that's the heist one, though. Essentially, right?
Very true.
What
Very
you
true.
can do is you can say
Baby
here.
Driver.
That'd be good.
Kind of a newer movie, but yeah.
Let me know how your whiskey night went tonight, Brandy.
So I think what would have been good if we would have chosen directors for this one, because
that would have been smart.
Yeah. So like this situation, because John Hughes is such a huge, like he has a huge impact on this movie, right? So that would have been a good one. So maybe in the future, if we do a movie like this, we can have directors too. Yeah. I think that would be a good idea.
No, we'll have a cool one coming out. It might be the heist one, might be another recast. The recast ones are pretty simple to do. The other ones are a little bit more detailed.
We also try to do like what's going on right now, right? Like this was random because Breakfast Club, but obviously people love it. Like a lot of viewers today, but sometimes we try to do them like close to something similar coming out, right?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Cool. That was
awesome.
Fun. That one works.
Well,
we'll throw together an idea.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. We'll sit around in Jake's house for an hour and
we'll brainstorm for an hour. You guys will leave, and then I'll decide on what we recast.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of what happened.
All righty. Well, that will do it for this episode of Apocaflix Now. Thank you all so much for joining us in the comment section and viewing. We really appreciate it.
Yuck. You can't recast Jurassic Park.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Star Drew, there will be news on a watch along coming. There'll be news on a watch along coming.
Yes. Before we get out of here, I'll let Brian and Jake let you know where you can find them online, as well as myself. Brian, I'll start with you.
You can find me on A Certain Point of View with Jake. If you want to talk some schmodown stuff, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Sundays. Recast Apocaflix. Don't tempt us.
Oh, there we go.
Wow.
Choose other YouTubers.
Wow, Brandy. Wow. So we're gonna recast ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's a good one with Halloween coming up.
That is a great one.
Okay,
because
John, you might have just figured it out.
Hey, for October,
you might have just figured it out, John.
Because you can't recast Halloween. Like
no.
There's like 2 cast members, but you can do Scream. That is great.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. I'm definitely going to be keeping that one in mind. Thank you, John. Keith Keith has to be on that one. He loves Scream. Yeah.
All right, Jake, where can they find you online?
Wait. Nussbaum. We don't have to recast it because Timothy Chalamet is going to redo Willy Wonka.
Anyway, you can find me on Twitter at QuigonJake. 2 N's because someone else took it before I did. POV each and every week with Brian there. I also do a little show on myself, the Whiskey Jedi, where we're talking all kinds of stuff that I want to talk about while reviewing whiskey. I have an episode coming up this week with my buddy Dom. He'll be joining me, so check that out. It'll probably be on Thursday. And then make sure you guys are checking out the Marvel Rewind here on the channel as well, where we are reviewing the What If series from Marvel. And like I mentioned up top on the show, we will also be doing a special Fandalorian Club on Star Wars Visions. And so you will see that very soon. We'll probably give ourselves a week to watch it. And then we will get into diving into that, just doing one special episode on that. And Rachel, that would be chaotic.
I can do that. I can do that.
As long as I'm Squirtle, we're good.
No, you're like Mr. Mime.
Ooh, Jacob. Facts.
Mr. Mime. No, it's just that it would be those like just a couple names and that's it. The draft is over. So
yeah, I feel you.
Cast Michael Myers, like what?
Well, it isn't talk, so you wouldn't really.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, you can find me on Twitter at JacobBartley824. If you play fantasy football or just a fan of the NFL, you can find my other YouTube channel, First Round Fantasy, on YouTube. Thank you, Jake, for the awesome logos there and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
you can also
to you guys, and I'm 0-2. So what's going on?
Well,
They give out terrible advice.
We give you advice, and then you decide what to do with it.
You know why? That's why they open up the show. Welcome to First Round Fantasy. You're home for second round advice.
Exactly. We're telling you not to listen to us, but at least stay for the entertaining conversations.
Partis, they did recast it. It's called Knives Out 2.
That's a good point. But you can also find me on Bartley and Barnes with Keith. We do a show together talking movies and other stuff and entertainment. We're working out the details of our next episode, so stay tuned if you're interested in that. Thank you all again for watching us here on Apocaflix Now. You'll find us every Tuesday at 7 PST or D. That changes, I guess, throughout the time. I just learned that.
Just say PT.
Yeah, I learned that it changes depending on what time of year it is.
Does,
I never knew that. But also check out
time.
Marvel Rewind. Our next episode will be coming out later this week. And like Jake said, look forward to our Star Wars coverage going forward. Thank you all again. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.